Hey everybody, good morning. How is everybody this morning? It is kind of a cool, rainy, wet, gray, foggy day here. It's only 7 a.m. I'm trying to beat the school bus. The school bus comes up my holler at around 25 after 7. Comes past my house, that is. It's like one lane. Some places there are, we call them wide spots, big enough that you can move over and let another car around. And sometimes you get lucky and you come to a wide spot just in time to be able to keep from running into somebody, Y'all excuse my voice, it's early in the morning. I know my road is probably just about gone. It poured rain here last night. I feel bad for all the people who have gone through the second round of flooding. I want to say this, and I know there's going to be a few people that are going to roll their eyes and poo-poo, but I'm not defending CMC. I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea. I don't want y'all to think I bumped my head or nothing, but I'm defending some of the stuff that is said from some of the viewers. Maybe you don't live in these areas, and I understand, so I'm not, I couldn't sit and talk about something going on in your neighborhood or in the area where you live if I've never been there. We get flooded in this part of the country, and eastern Kentucky gets hit pretty hard several times throughout the year. Now, a lot of what we get is water runoff that comes down out of the hills. Creeks and streams and stuff overflow, and rivers really overflow because all these little creeks and things run into these rivers, and the water has to go somewhere. So a lot of times it backs up into people's driveways and yards. And Connie lives kind of like I do. I think she probably lives in an area similar to where I live. It's kind of up the holler. So if anybody's ever been in a holler, you know what I'm talking about. There are hollers that are flat, but for the most part, hollers are uphill. And I'm not talking about like straight up the side of a mountain or nothing. It's just that they kind of go up. So when somebody says I'm going up the holler, it means you're going up, And the water from the head of the holler and the hillsides and the mountains and all the little streams and things runs out, and it all comes out into the creeks. And people, excuse me, I can't get my voice going this morning. I've got the froggy one courting. Froggy went courting in my throat. I didn't mean that to sound dirty. It's just that these little driveways and drain pipes, and some people will get innovative and they'll make a little drain pipe out of any little thing that they can find. And sometimes you get the good galvanized, big size drain pipes, to build your driveway over. And even then, sometimes the dirt and stuff on top of that will wash off. So you're left with a drain pipe. You can't drive over top of the drain pipe without something buffering between your tires and the drain pipe. So a lot of times all that water, all that dirt and gravel and stuff gets washed away. I'm driving over places right now where there's water standing in the road, and driveways where the water runs down and they come out into the road. And so I don't know where I'm supposed to go here, buddy. Over the hill, I guess. Anyway, about the water, like I said, I'm not defending CMC, but some of the people watching, they want to make every little thing that somebody talks about into some kind of a scam. Now, the old CMC would have been begging people, send money, guys, so I could get the gravel and stuff to fix my mom's drain pipe. And But she may still be doing that subliminally, the dry begging stuff. And there are cuckoo birds out there that will send her money. Here you go, honey. Take this and buy your mommy some gravel for her driveway. I don't know if Connie got money from FEMA. I don't know. If she did, I guarantee you it was not a whole lot of money. Because I've got friends who got flooded. I've got people, I know people who lost everything they had. Not just a little driveway, but their home. All their furniture and belongings were just destroyed. Poured yesterday. Last night, I'm sitting there watching something on Hulu or whatever. I can't remember what I was watching, but the rain outside was so loud it was drowning out the TV. And I told my husband, I said, we're not going to have no road in the morning when I get ready to leave. It's so foggy out this morning, guys. But I don't want people to get the idea that I'm defending her behavior. If Connie got money from FEMA, she won't get any more. FEMA came, I tell you what FEMA did. I know people that they did this to. They came around. They came to my house, actually, looking for one of my neighbors, is what they were doing. And so they came to my house, and they were at the wrong house, and they were just like, we're looking for so-and-so. And I hope these little cars down here stop. Stop this red light here. They gave them a little bit of money. Like, I've got two neighbors that share a driveway, and their driveway got washed away. Their drain got twisted and bent out of crap, and all their gravel and stuff got washed off. And they had no way to get across the creek to their house. They just had to park and walk across. They just had to make them like a little footpath. But they got a little bit of money, and they went in together and bought the stuff with that money, and they fixed their driveway back. I've got another neighbor who lives maybe a mile down the road from me. He had he had the county up there. He was like Connie. His driveway was completely gone. The hillside and everything that would even hold a drain pipe was gone. So they came and they rebuilt all that, put him in a galvanized steel drain pipe, and this weekend it completely washed it away. It was just completely destroyed once again, and he's left without any way to get his cars across. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. I made a video yesterday, and I ended up not getting around to posting it, and I just didn't. I got kind of started talking about a subject, and I thought, well, I'm not going to get into all that, because I was kind of talking about another person, and I wasn't talking about them, like, calling them names or anything like that. I was just giving my opinions on something that they were talking about on their live the other night. And I just decided not to post it, because I felt like, I don't want to get into that. There's enough battles and stuff going on in this world. People, I'm telling you, I'm not an overly religious person. I do believe in God, and I do believe in the stuff that I've been brought up. I believe in spiritual warfare, and I believe that that's what's happening to us right now. I'm not here to preach, but I'm telling you, when you're feeling attacked, when you're feeling like nothing's going right, I can't pay my bills, I can't buy food, everything's going wrong, we blame the government. We're like, how could they have raised prices so high? How could this have happened? Well, yeah, it's justifiable blame. I'm not saying you're blaming the wrong person, because we all know who's behind all this and the reasons why. There's a reason why you're paying $5 a gallon for a gallon of milk. So people in other countries can have their weapons and shit, But But what I'm getting at is what it does to you as a person. When somebody's really hungry to the point that they are sitting and watching their children go hungry, or even their parent or grandparent, and they're just like, I don't know what to do here. I don't know how to help. They will turn to the dark ways of the world to help. They will turn to stealing. They will turn to identity theft. They will turn to robbery, breaking and entering. They will turn to any type of way that they can find to get money to buy food. And people will do it for drugs too. They'll break your windows out to get something out of your vehicle or out of your house. They'll break in, they'll brandish a gun, they'll steal, they'll rob for drugs. But now people are going to start seeing more of that happening for food. And I'm here to tell people, and I know some people might listen to this and say, gosh, she's just really going off the deep end. Too late. We see these stories all the time on Facebook, on social media. Be careful in the parking lot at Walmart. There's a crazy man walking around looking at women. You know, we read those posts. There was a man following me and my kids around Walmart, and I had to go get the manager. Whether those are real or imagined situations, the person at the moment might really believe that somebody is. Oh. Road here, buddy. Got a truck come down about to run me over. But right now, my advice to people is to watch your surroundings when you're bringing your groceries out of the store and putting them into your car. Don't leave your groceries in your buggy and walk over to, talk to somebody. There was a time when we didn't have to fear that, but we do now. You have to. You really do. You have to fear that. Because people are hard up. Oh man, this place. And people, I'm telling you, the need right now is greater. I don't want to sit here and say it's greater than it's ever been in history, because we all know that that's not true, But there is a great need going on in this world right now. I can't get my voice. I'm going to take me a drink of coffee, but while I'm driving, I'm afraid I'll splosh it out all over myself. There's a great need going on in the world right now, and I mean, people are... It's hard to sit back. I don't want to get it political, but it's hard to sit back and watch what's happening in Ohio and the flooding and stuff that's going on, knowing that the waterways are probably polluted. I just don't know. It's hard to sit back and watch stuff like that and then see the so-called leader of this country going over to Ukraine with yet more money, more aid. And people in Ohio can't even, are afraid to, they're afraid to even take a deep breath because they don't know what the heck they're breathing, Oh, guys, I just, I'm just rambling. I know, I'm not talking about anything really, but I had some things on my mind yesterday, and I made a video, and I talked quite a bit, and I just decided not to post it because, let me just say this, because I'm one of those people that when I get something on my mind, I have to share it or die, But without naming any names or anything like that, I'm just going to say this. When you do a live or you talk about narcissism, and as most of you who follow me know that I have a YouTube channel that is dedicated to narcissism. And I've had that channel since about 2019. I didn't even come on here and start talking. I didn't even discover CMC and start talking about her until 2021. So I had my YouTube channel about narcissism for a good 1.5 to 2 years before I even knew of CMC. And I didn't know of any of these awareness pages or anything like that. But when you do a live or you do videos and you talk about narcissism, and you want to sit and you want to tell about narcissism, about traits of a narcissist and the behavior of a narcissist, it's kind of hard for people who really understand, and nobody fully ever will ever fully understand a narcissist, but it's hard for people who have watched and followed and talked about and educated themselves and understand about narcissism to sit and listen to somebody talk about that subject while they themselves are putting out the behaviors and traits of a narcissist. Denying, living in denial. They're always the perpetual victim, making up scenarios, and whether they're true or not true, putting themselves in positions where scenarios might come true of situations where they're putting themselves or somebody else in harm's way, and then turning around and saying somebody harmed me, somebody harmed my child, but yet I was a willing participant in that harm. I engaged in battles with people that led to them turning around and then striking back, or striking out, or whatever you want to call it. I know this video is running long, and I didn't mean for it to, but for any of you who have actually watched my YouTube channel, you know that I have used this term before, willing participant. See, a victim of a narcissist at some point becomes a willing participant. I did, but that's another thing, is taking ownership. Whether you have been the victim, whether you are recovering from abuse, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, narcissistic abuse, or whether you are recovering from drugs and alcohol addiction or any other kind of addiction, or any other kind of trauma, you have to take your own inventory. You have to be accountable for your past. You have to say, yes, I took part in those things. Yes. See, that's what I'm doing right here. I admit there was a time when this ex of mine would reach out to me, and I would be curious. What's he want? Oh, I would feel special. Oh, he's reaching out to me. He must miss me. He must want to talk to me because he's heartbroken. He misses me. He wishes things were, we were back together or whatever. I would allow my brain to go there. I would allow the healed part of my brain to shut off and this traumatized part of my brain to take over and say, go back and talk to him, see what he wants. Oh, isn't this wonderful? He's reaching out. And then the healed part of my brain would go right back to being unhealed again. And my broken heart and my anger and all the other stuff that I had started to heal from would come right back after I would spend some time talking to him. Because every single time you take part in any kind of interaction with a narcissist, you leave more damaged. You leave with more trauma. You leave with more questions. You leave feeling worse about yourself. And they love that. People like CMC, she builds these people up. These people that interact with her on her lives. Oh, you're so wonderful. You're so great. And tell me all about your kids. And tell me about your trip. And what's everybody had for dinner, guys? She makes them feel wanted. She makes them feel like she wants to have a conversation with them. They're special to her. I love you guys. And then when she starts playing this mind game with them of like, You guys, I can't really talk about it, but things are just so bad right now, and I'm just so depressed. And she knows that they have built this kinship to her. They feel connected to her. They feel special, and she made them feel special, so they have to show her their gratitude. And then if she was to say to them, I'm just really having a lot of financial problems right now. I really can't pay this or buy that or do this or whatever. The dry begging type of conversation, or even the straightforward, I need some money and I don't know how to go about getting it. I can't ask on my platform because, everybody reports me and stuff. Well, it's called trauma bond. These people have gone through some trauma in their life, or they're lonely, they're widowed, or they're alone in some way, and she builds a kinship to them through that. Whatever the situation is that they've gone through, she interjects herself into that. An example that I can give is my ex. At the time that he started reaching out to me in the very beginning, when he first started interacting with me on a friendship level, going through that process of looking for my own way in life, and he comes along and I'm going through the same thing. This woman that I've lived with all these years, we broke up. She moved out, and of course none of that was true. He was just taking what I was telling him and making a story. Now, eventually she did move out because he told her to move out, that he didn't want to be with her anymore. And he thought, because he had ruled over her for so many years as a narcissist, had her so broken that when she moved out, and I didn't learn about any of this until I was right smack dab in the middle of all this, she started standing up for herself. So she started telling him, I'm going to take you to court. I'm going to ask the judge to divide this property up to give me my half. You can buy my half out. And child support. Well, he didn't like that. He had never had to deal with her on that level. He was used to her just doing whatever he said and going along with it. When she started standing up to him and saying, here's the way things are going to be, he cowed down. And he's like, I don't want to, lose my authority here. So he pushed me out, moved her back in, just like changing socks, you know? And that's how easily a narcissist can discard you. They have no feelings for you. He had no feelings for her. The only thing he felt for was that he didn't want to have to pay child support to his kid. He honestly thought in his narcissistic mind that this woman was just going to let him have this child living with him. And who was going to take care of the kid while he was at work 12 hours every single night, you know? And narcissists, their minds don't work the way our minds work. We rationalize things. They jump in feet first and say, here's how it's going to be. And they're used to people. They're used to being able to play puppet master with people's minds and hearts and lives. But you cannot, getting back to what I was talking about, you cannot educate other people about narcissism when you are a willing participant in that. When you sit there on live and you tell people, this person is doxing me, this person is doxing my child, this person is making threats against my child, this person is making prank phone calls to my family and friends and job and this and that. And then you turn around and you go right back and you say, I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to throw everything I know about you. I'm going to tell everything I know about everybody that you're friends with, and you're doing the exact same thing back to them that you're accusing them of doing to you. If that is not willing participation, then tell me what is. Because whether your child is 5 years old, 15 years old, or 25 years old, it's the job of a parent to protect their child and to take their child out of the path of harm. And if somebody is accusing somebody else of doing something to harm their child, then it's that parent's place and job to jump in and say, I'm not putting up with this anymore. Therefore, I'm going to step away. Now, you may look at that, and a narcissist especially would look at that as, there's no way in hell I'm going to back down. There's no way in hell you're going to win over me. I'm going to show everybody just what kind of a piece of crap you are, and I'm going to expose you. Well, then don't get on lives and tell people you're this guy's a narcissist, that one's a narcissist, this is the narcissistic behavior of others. You're giving that you're busy taking their inventory and telling everybody they are A, B, C, and D. But what are you saying about yourself? One of the most classic signs of a narcissist is denial. Failure to take their own inventory, failure to be accountable. We all know that is true of CMC. She's taken no accountability at all in her participation in scamming people. She's taken no accountability in her drug use. She says, I was getting high. You guys knew it. You guys all knew it, and you were sending me money anyway, so therefore it's all on you. Don't blame me. Don't blame me because you guys wanted to give me your money. That's not accountability in a person that is trying to change and be clean and live a clean life. There are people out there who are clean and can tell you, I had to confess some pretty daggone downright dirty, pretty scummy, nasty behavior I had to confess to people about. And I had to confess it to myself. I had to confess to myself that, I was letting him back in. I was answering his text messages. I had to take ownership in that. After I found out that he was a narcissist and I started studying and researching and reading and making videos and trying to educate others about that subject, and then he would reach out to me and I would be like, well, maybe I can handle it now that I know what it is, but I couldn't. But I'm going to end this video. I just wanted to say that to people. Until you're willing to hold yourself accountable, and until you're willing to be the better person or the bigger person and step away from the fighting and the name calling and the finger pointing and accusing people of doing stuff, and whether they're doing those things or not, I don't know, because I'm not in the middle of all that. So I'm just talking from a viewer. I'm just saying, until you're willing to admit to yourself and to those who watch you and to those who you're trying to educate that you yourself are in need of some, if you're going through a traumatic time in your life, such as a divorce or a time when you are maybe dealing with a health crisis or financial crisis, it's probably not the best time. As we all hear, we have to choose our battles. And if you're choosing to weaken your own health by taking part in an argument and stress that's unnecessary, that you're putting on yourself, then you can't sit there and blame others for that. You can't blame others because you feel bad or you're sick or you've got a headache or your back hurts or your feet hurt. And you have to take a little bit more gabapentin or Topamax or whatever it is that you might take for those problems, because the stress is too much. You're weakening your own immune system by taking part in those arguments and that stress. So you can't really tell people other people are causing this when you're a willing participant in it. That's all I have to say. I hope everybody has a great day. I'm sorry this video ran long. Thank y'all for listening.